Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Coming Out Cosmic podcast. My name is Christine Nowinski. I am your host, ET contactee, and awakening coach and founder of Coming Out Cosmic. This podcast is for those who love strange things, aliens, reptilians, past lives, anything that you can imagine. We are here for your weird stories if you are here for ours. Today, I have a very special guest, my friend and best friend for life, Rosanna.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
On today's episode, we are diving deep into the topic of past lives and phobias. Why is it that we have certain phobias in this lifetime? Where do they actually stem from? And could it be possible that phobias are actually stemming from a past life and that phobia just isn't resolved yet? And that's why you carried it over into this lifetime. Rosanna, do you think that that phenomenon is real?
Oh, for sure. Because my fear of needles, I've never experienced any trauma in this life that brought on that fear. I know people that have a fear of birds because a bird attacked them in this life.
But a needle didn't just attack you.
No, I've been scared of them my whole life.
Let's go back into the first moment that you realized that you were afraid or had this phobia of needles.
I don't even know if I can tell you the first moment because my mom would say when she brought me to the doctor, I would scream bloody murder. Now, I don't remember being a baby.
Right.
I've had the same family doctor. Anytime I was in the waiting room and the doctor came out and said, today you're going to need this vaccine, I would start crying instantly.
That's pretty wild to think that even as a baby, just the anticipation of getting a shot, it's like the cells in your body remembered something from perhaps a previous past life for you to have that sort of horrible reaction. I understand that usually when kids get shots, at least like if it was their first shot, they don't know what to expect. And so they wouldn't usually automatically just start crying. But this just seems like it's a fear that has been instilled within you, maybe your soul, for a very long time.
Yeah, I had no explanation as to why. The fact that we're talking about it, I used to cry about talking about it. So I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Now, we talked a little bit about how when you were a baby, this fear showed up with shots, of course. You know, I don't think that any kid really likes to have shots at the doctor. I think a lot of kids don't even like the doctor's office. But how has this fear shown up in your adult life?
A few years back, I went to the dentist. They saw that one of my teeth was like, they said soft, so they wanted to file it down and harden it so it wouldn't get a cavity. And they said, we'll just schedule you, we'll get the Novocaine. The second they said Novocaine, I started crying. This was only a few years ago, so I was like, what, mid-20s? And the dentist was in shock. She's like, have you had bad experiences at the dentist? I'm like, no, I don't do needles, and if I need to get Novocaine, I'm not getting the procedure. So I got it without the Novocaine.
Wait, so let's be clear. You had never had a bad dental procedure before?
No, I've never had braces. I've never had a cavity in my adult teeth. Like, I've never really had any issues with the dentist ever. And then when she said Novocaine, I bursted out crying.
So it was this visceral fear, this reaction to a phobia that you have no lived experience in this lifetime, no trauma that you can point to as the start, as the root of this phobia, right?
No. There's also another time. So I get migraines. I went to see a specialist and they wanted me to get blood work done. The second they told me I needed to get blood work, I started crying. I called my mom because she understands my fear. So she was trying to calm me down. I had 2 months to get the blood work done. I scheduled it the last possible minute. Of course, they didn't have any morning appointments, so I had to do it in the afternoon. And all day at work, I was crying. I left work crying, got into the parking lot, cleaned up, walked into the building, started crying. Like, it was just bad. When I got home, because they taped the cotton ball, I wouldn't move my arm. And then, of course,
think I remember.
yeah, because we hung out the next day and you said, take that off, and you ripped it off my arm.
Yes. That's what friends do. They rip off your Band-Aids for you. So obviously you know that this phobia had caused a ton of uncomfortable and difficult challenges in your life. What led you then to start exploring the more spiritual or cosmic nature of this phobia?
When I started opening up spiritually and hearing about like past lives, I was like, wait, what if this is from a past life trauma? Because I don't think people just naturally have fears. You have to have a trauma at some some point. When I started opening up spiritually, hearing about past lives, I was like, I wonder if something happened in a past life of mine that brought this fear of needles on. That's when we looked into finding someone that could possibly help out with that.
At this time, you and I had actually been really interested in learning more about spiritual stuff. And so we were developing our psychic abilities through classes. And then we found out about somebody named Shiv, who was an amazing mentor, unfortunately no longer with us. However, he was a shaman, a monk. I talk about him a lot actually on my social media. He specialized in past life regressions. I remember I actually suggested to you, hey, let's do a past life regression to understand what this phobia is and where it came from. And guys, you would not believe where Rosanna's phobia came from. Let's get into when Shiv actually put you under in past life regression. What did you see?
When we first started, he was putting me into a deep meditation. He was talking me through the meditation and like what I was seeing, but at the same time, he wasn't giving too much detail. He would ask, what do you see? At one point in the beginning, he said, you are being taken away into this side building built into a mountain. That moment, I started crying in my deep meditation. But then he would say, you are safe now. There's no need to worry. He would say that a few times. And then after a while, that's when I started calming down. And then he would say, so what do you see? I could also feel it was a very damp, cold building. I was in a uniform of the war because I was a captured soldier. I was brought into this building and tied down to a chair. In some movies where you're being interrogated type of thing, where you have a light shining on you and you see nothing else around.
That's what it felt like?
That's kind of what it felt like.
Shiv took you back into the past life of the origin of this fear of needles.
Yes. He wanted me to relive the fear that I had, the trauma that I had as to why I have this fear in this life.
Yes. Okay. And a quick pause here before we get back into the lifetime of what actually happened to Rosanna as a captured soldier. I did want to add that if you are struggling with any sort of phobia, one of the best ways to rid of that phobia in this lifetime is by understanding its root cause. Just by living or reliving that past life through a past life regression can help you to release the phobia. This took a lot of guts for you to re-experience because you were feeling everything and seeing everything during this regression.
Yeah, and another point to that is what he kept saying is you are safe now.
Yes.
That is a very important thing too, is yes, you have to relive it, but you also have to know that you are safe.
Yes.
And that you're not in harm's way anymore.
That's an amazing point.
And that you have to accept it. That's also important, he said. You have to accept this.
Accept what?
You have to accept that this was happening and that you are safe now. If you don't accept that you're safe and you're just repeating, I am safe, and you don't accept it or you don't feel it, it might not work.
Then you're just traumatizing yourself again.
Yes.
So you're sitting in this chair as a captured soldier. I remember Shiv said that you had a name.
My name was Mark.
Mark, that's my dad's name.
I know.
From Alien Talks with Dad on TikTok. If you know, you know.
Yes.
Okay.
My name was Mark. I was a male in this life. I was strapped in a chair, and you see this doctor come out with a tray with a huge needle. Something you would see in cartoons, I swear. It was that big, and it was like a bright red liquid, and it was injected into my arm.
Oh my God.
After the big one, they brought out many other ones and inserted these needles into my thighs, into my stomach, into my arms, and they just let them sit there.
Oh my God.
That was night one, apparently. This happened for multiple nights in a row. I think at
Wow.
least 3 that I can recall. After getting injected with this stuff, I felt like no feeling, like no senses.
Oh,
like
wow.
everything was just like, it was just me there. Even though I know I wasn't alone, but like I couldn't feel, like it was weird.
So do you think that that's how it felt in that lifetime? Or are you saying that in the meditation regression, you couldn't feel anything?
No, I think in that lifetime is
Okay.
what this scary red liquid did to me.
So it was numbing you.
Yes. The next day, they did the exact same thing. But this second time, instead of just injecting me, these people took it and like made sure it hurt. Like they would twist
Oh
it
my
and
God.
like really stab me with it. Like they would twist it, making sure I felt it. Same thing, big red liquid and then multiple needles in my body the next day. And it happened for at least 3 days, maybe a couple more. But at the end of it, my body couldn't take this stuff they were injecting into me and I died.
Wow. What do you think their plan was?
So from what he told me, which you can research this because in the World War II, they were trying to, what I explained, make Captain America, make a superhuman,
Oh.
and have them to use as a weapon. And I
Oh.
was one of those people they tested
Oh my
to
God.
see if they could make me into a superhuman, and it did not work.
Okay, so maybe when they were intentionally hurting you with that second night needle, it was because they were seeing if you didn't have any pain.
I feel like personally, I thought they wanted me to feel pain.
Oh, wow. This is a lot to take in. So, just by hearing this past life and experiencing it in that regression, how did you feel when you woke up?
It was hard to believe that this was actually happening, but I definitely felt like it happened. You know,
Oh,
like
okay.
it's like, no, Captain America is a movie. There's no way there's actually this happening in other lives. No, it is. The things they put in movies are them telling the truth.
Yes.
That's how I explain it, is them turning me into a Captain America. If anybody's seen Captain America, he starts as a scrawny little man, and then he turns into, you know, a really big, strong guy.
A couple key details with this story as a recap is that you were a captured soldier in World War II.
Yes.
Was it confirmed that these were the Nazis?
I don't remember seeing specifically any uniforms. I just remember seeing more people in doctor scrubs. So I can't really confirm that. From what Shiv told me, it was the Nazis, but at the same time, like I said, I can't confirm that. You can definitely research that it happened, that people were actually trying to make these superhumans in World War II.
Oh my goodness. And then try to find a man named Mark.
I think I was considered one of the MIA soldiers, or
Like a John Doe.
yeah, like missing.
Oh man.
something.
Okay. So let's talk about what Shiv told you after the regression and what was to be expected in your life now.
He didn't necessarily say my full fear would totally go away, but like I said before, you have to accept it. It's going to take time. Over time, I should be able to get rid of said fear. I'm not going to lie, I still have some fear, but the fact that I can talk about it really is a big deal, because I would start crying talking about needles in general, even getting tattoos.
Oh yes. And actually you went for blood work.
Yeah, so I was actually really excited that I signed up for blood work. My doctor that I've had since I was a child, I knew he would want me to get blood work since I haven't gotten it done since 2019 and we are 2025.
Yes, and that's what phobias will do for you. You sacrifice your health.
Well, luckily I was healthy the whole time.
Yes.
So I got
Yes.
lucky in that sense. I called my doctor to get a script, and I did not cry at all until I got into the chair. That's a big step. I did cry in the chair, but the second they were done, I stopped crying. I was so proud of myself. You guys don't even know.
That is a huge win, and you have to celebrate all of the wins along the way, because getting rid of a phobia is so hard, especially when it's a phobia that was so deeply impactful in such a horrendous way in the past life in which you came. As we conclude here, do you have any advice for people who do have an unexplained phobia?
It might not necessarily just be a mental thing. It could be a wound to your soul, and it can be brought on to many lives. And this is the life that we're going to break the cycle.
Yes, isn't that what Shiv told you? Like, hey, I think that this is the lifetime that you're actually going to get rid of this fear.
Yeah, I already feel like I've improved, like I said, a lot. Do I still enjoy it? No, but I'll sign up for blood work again.
I think it's important for listeners to understand you can get rid of any phobia that you have. Don't listen to those people who say, oh, it's just all in your head. You can just get rid of this phobia without any sort of work, because there is some work that needs to be done. I do believe that past life regressions can definitely help you. So I would start there if you do have an unexplained phobia. I think that in a future episode, we can talk about not just how past lives affect you in this lifetime via phobias, but how they can impact you via illness. I have a fainting disorder called vasovagal syncope, and there is an insane story as to why I faint in this lifetime and what happened to me as a child in the caveman era, what they did to me in that lifetime, and why I faint in this lifetime. So if you're interested in knowing that story, it is a wild one, so buckle up. That'll be in a future episode, and I wanted to thank our listeners for listening in, and also Rosanna, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me come out cosmic.
Yay! Okay, bye!